Time for a break. Traveler's choice Aquafina water and shelled peanuts. One of my favorite. They come in their own container. Anyway, today's been great. Light breeze. You see that flag blow a little bit, and probably about 75 degrees right now. A lot better than that desert down there around Cisco and Thompson Springs, Green River. The swell was pretty hot too. The San Rafael swell, great place to ride. If you're a camper, likes to ride and camp, it's hard to beat the swell. And if you don't like crowds, way to go. Anyway, the bike's been running perfect. I did have that issue you saw in my last video with the pinging. The engine started pinging, and it was because I wasn't getting enough airflow and into the air box. See, I have two filters in there, one primary, one secondary. Primary being the one that comes with the bike. The secondary is the one that filters the air before it gets to the primary. And what that does, keeps your filter really clean, and when the cooler weather is around, I really don't have any issue, but when it's 90 degrees or above, it leans the engine out too much. And between 28 and about 35 miles an hour, this engine sounded like it was coming apart. It was pinging so bad. Took out that secondary filter, got more airflow in there, and stopped it. So I was wondering why I was getting such good gas mileage. I was running way too lean. Anyway, then I have a bracket on the other side over here that holds my transmitter receiver for the wireless winch, and it broke. And I don't know if it's just from old age, or I got into some brush a little while back, and I'm just wondering if some of that brush got up there and broke. It's a it's a plastic case that holds it in place, and it broke the tabs off. So I like finding this stuff out, because now it's going to be made out of metal. Make it out of some aluminum, and it's going to be pretty bulletproof. That's the thing about doing this cross-country adventures. You push your bikes really hard. It's not like you do a 40-mile drive and go back to your home and sit in the garage and look around and say, oh, you know, I lost a plastic fender rivet. So, you know, it's that kind of thing. A long, hard haul is really an enduring test on a bike. And had to add a little oil, wasn't bad. Other than that, thing's been purring like a kitten. So I'm going to be getting into Richfield. I'm going to pick up some groceries, stop at Walmart, and Richfield, everybody tells me, just obey the law and speed limits and all that. They won't hassle you at all. So years ago I was there. People were running around on the streets and on Main Street, on side-by-sides, ATVs. And when the Rocky Mountain ATV Jamboree happens, I think there's more ATVs and side-by-sides than there's cars on the streets. So that was many years ago. So I heard it's growing all the time. Anyway, a lot of you know that I run with a device that hooks to my exhaust system. And over the years I sold them. They're called muff pots, and they're originally designed for snowmobiles. You hook them to the exhaust pipe of the snowmobile underneath the hood, and it'd heat up a potato or anything you wanted hot. My favorite is these Hormel compliments, and they fit in the container just perfect. And before I leave, I will throw that in, and that's going to be my dinner tonight. It'll be just super hot. And it takes, on a warm day, it doesn't take long to heat up. 80 degrees and above, that thing can, in a half hour, is hot. When it's in the 70s, it takes longer. Years ago when I used to ride snow, it didn't work at all. It was just too much cold air. So anyway, I put that in there, and I'll have a hot meal later on. And I have a cooler that keeps my drinks cold, and generally use dry ice. And so I do have a backup if something drastically happened where I ran out of food. I do have freeze-dried food, 7 days worth, so which doesn't weigh anything at all to haul around. The only thing about with freeze-dried food, you got to make sure that it doesn't rub a hole over vibration. You know how your box starts shaking and rattling? Well, it doesn't take long to rub a hole in a freeze-dried food bag. Last thing you want to do is have a hole in that, and then you got ants going in or whatever, or dust, dirt. So if you're going to haul freeze-dried food, put it in a real safe container like Tupperware, and then wrap it with some foam, like air bubbles, and it'll never wear a hole in it, and it'll last for years that way, and it doesn't take up much room. So another trick of the trade. Anyway, I'm about ready to take off, and as soon as I drink some more water. But anyway, I hope you'll enjoy this trip. Won't be long. Be hit Nevada here in 2-3 days, and the rain's coming, and I'm going to be out of the mountains when the rain really starts hitting, and hopefully I'll be on the western side of the mountain range where the Paiute is, a place called Fillmore, Utah, and Kenosha, and that's right at the base of the desert that heads over to Nevada, because those big mountains like to suck up all that moisture. By the time I get to Fillmore and Kenosha, the storm should be hitting the mountains and not the desert. That's why it's desert. It just doesn't get the rainfall that the mountains do. So if I plan it right, I can avoid some of these storms. And way up high, 10, 11,000 feet up there, you're probably going to see snow. So I don't need to play in that stuff. Anyway, cheers. Nyrock out. Best trails to you. Hope you can do this one of these days. Cross country. You're going to love it. And when it's all said and done, you can give yourself a pat on the back. Nyrock out.
Salina National Forest, and currently I'm on the Great Western Trail, and it's in around 10,000 feet right now. My GPS says right at 9,080, and it's going to start going down because we're headed downhill. What's nice about this area, in the towns below, you can ride all of them. They're all ATV friendly, and Ferron Utah, Ferron. Everybody's riding ATVs and side by sides all over town. Anyway, had some really magnificent views, lots of pictures, and I'm sure you can tell by the videos that it's pretty spectacular. I'm up high enough where there's lots of aspens, and they're starting to show some color in certain trees, yellows, oranges, and reds. Some magnificent scenery, and I've run into quite a few people ATVing because this coming week is the Rocky Mountain ATV Jamboree, and if you've ever been to that, you know what I'm talking about. It's wall-to-wall off-roaders, ATVs, and anyway, that's coming up here shortly. So if you've never been to the Rocky Mountain ATV Jamboree, I highly recommend that you try it one year, and you're going to make lots of friends, and people from all over the country, every state, you're going to find somebody, and a lot of repeat. Anyway, like I said, I'm on the Great Western Trail, and this is Forest Service Road, but it's 50-inch area, but a lot of it, most of it is, okay, I gotta check here. All right, I'm not going interstate. Anthony Flat is what I want, and head down to US Route 89, and you can tell this is going to be the start. Okay, this is the end right here. This is the end of the Great Western Trail. See GWT. This is the Great Western Trail, and now I got to make a right, and it becomes the Gooseberry ATV Trail system. And then when I get down into town down there, I gotta drive through town and hit some trails and head up into the mountains again. But anyway, the weather's pretty good. It's a little hazy. I think there are some fires still smoldering, but nothing out of hand here. And that area, when I go back up, is the area that's going to be the area of concern for a fire. But they may already have that out. We'll see. Anyway, I'm going to turn off the jibber jabber here and turn on some music and enjoy the scenery. It's absolutely gorgeous. And I rock out.